Romance, overpowered protagonists, and adventure collide in today's countdown. We're ranking the top 10 anime where stupidly strong main characters sweep girls off their feet while saving worlds. Let's dive in. Number 10, Sword Art Online. Kicking off with number 10, we have the anime that made everyone think VR gaming was the future until Facebook ruined it for all of us. Kirito is basically Neo from The Matrix, if Neo was a teenage edgelord who collected girlfriends like Pokemon cards. The guy literally breaks the game by being too good at it, which honestly feels like cheating, but whatever. The romance with Asuna hits different though. Nothing says I love you quite like dying together in a virtual death trap. Sure, the fairy arc made us all question our life choices, but that first season? Pure magic. Kirito might be overpowered to the point of absurdity, but watching him slice through bosses while building his digital harem never gets old. Plus, the action sequences still slap harder than your mom's chancla. Number 9. Zero no Tsukaima, the familiar of Zero. Sliding to number 9 with the anime that taught us all about the tsundere masochist relationship dynamic we never knew we needed. Louise is literally the worst mage in school until she accidentally summons Saito, who turns out to be more broken than a PlayStation controller after a rage quit session. Saito goes from zero to hero faster than you can say isekai, wielding legendary weapons like he's been doing it his whole life. The romance here is peak enemies to lovers energy, with Louise whipping Saito more often than Indiana Jones. Their relationship is toxic enough to make a Twitter argument look healthy, but somehow it works? The fantasy world building is solid, and watching Saito evolve from confused teenager to legendary knight hits all the right power fantasy buttons. Just don't think too hard about the age gaps. Number 8, Seirei Tsukai no Blade Dance, Blade Dance of the Elementalers. Landing on number 8 with an anime that sounds like it was named by throwing fantasy words at a wall and seeing what stuck. Kamito's the only male elementaler in centuries, making him rarer than a completed anime adaptation. He's got this mysterious dark past that makes everyone go, ooh, edgy, while he contracts with spirits like he's collecting trading cards. The academy setting gives us peak harem chaos, with girls literally fighting over who gets to be his partner. Claire's fire spirit antics provides solid entertainment, and the tournament arc delivers decent action sequences. Sure, the plot's more predictable than a Netflix cancellation, but sometimes you just want to watch an overpowered guy surrounded by magical girls without thinking too hard. It's comfort food anime. Not groundbreaking, but satisfying when you need that familiar fantasy fix. Number 7. Date Alive. Looking at number 7, we've got the anime that asks the important question: what if world-ending disasters were actually just sad girls who needed therapy and a boyfriend? Shido's superpower is literally being so nice that apocalyptic spirits fall in love with him, which honestly sounds exhausting, but whatever works, right? The premise is unhinged in the best way possible. Save the world through the power of dating simulation mechanics. Each spirit brings their own brand of chaos, from Toka's innocent destruction to Kurumi's time manipulation yandere energy that makes everyone simultaneously terrified and attracted. The action sequences blend perfectly with romantic comedy, creating this weird but addictive cocktail. Shido might not punch mountains like other overpowered protagonists, but convincing literal forces of nature to chill out through pure boyfriend energy is honestly more impressive than any sword technique. Number 6, Campione. Sliding to number 6 with the anime that said, what if Percy Jackson, but with more fan service and less parental supervision? Godu accidentally kills a god and becomes a Campione, which basically makes him immortal with the attitude of a confused teenager who just wants to live normally. The mythology mixing here is chef's level. We get gods from every pantheon throwing hands, while Godu's just trying not to die. His power scaling is ridiculous. One minute he's a regular student, the next he's trading blows with literal deities. The romance subplot with Erika gives us that classic warrior princess falls for reluctant hero dynamic, plus enough other girls to stock a small army. The fights feel genuinely epic when gods start throwing around city-destroying attacks, and Godu's "I didn't ask for this" energy makes him surprisingly relatable for someone who regularly commits deicide. Number 5. Rakudai Kishino Cavalry, chivalry of a failed knight. Landing on number 5 with the anime that proves grades don't mean everything. Sometimes you're just built different. Ikki's ranked as the worst student possible, but his actual combat ability makes everyone else look like they're fighting in slow motion. It's like being called the worst basketball player while dunking on LeBron James. The relationship with Stella is pure gold. 2 overpowered students who actually communicate like functional human beings instead of dancing around each other for 12 episodes. Their chemistry feels natural, and watching them push each other to new heights hits all the right notes. The tournament arc delivers some genuinely impressive sword fights, with animation that makes every clash feel weighty and important. Ikki's 1-minute miracle ability is perfectly balanced, incredibly powerful but with real limitations that create actual tension during fights. Number 4. Tsukimichi, Moonlit Fantasy. Looking at number 4, we have the isekai that said, what if the goddess was actually terrible and the main character just gave up on being conventionally attractive? Makoto gets dumped in a fantasy world by the pettiest deity imaginable, then proceeds to accidentally become more powerful than most countries. The comedy here is unmatched. Makoto's completely oblivious to his own power level while casually intimidating dragons and creating pocket dimensions. His relationship with Tomoe and Mio gives us this weird but wholesome dynamic where ancient monsters treat him like their precious master. The world building feels fresh, with Makoto creating his own little civilization instead of joining existing power structures. Plus, his archery skills are so broken they basically function as sniper rifles in a medieval setting, which never stops being satisfying to watch. Number 3. Arifureta Shokuyu de Seikai Saikyu. Arifureta, from commonplace to world's strongest. Sliding to number 3 with the anime that answers what happens when the nice guy finally snaps. Hajime goes from class weakling to edgelord supreme after getting betrayed harder than Caesar by Brutus. His transformation is so dramatic, he basically becomes a different character entirely. The romance with Yue gives us vampire princess energy mixed with ancient magic user wisdom, creating this interesting dynamic where she's simultaneously innocent and incredibly powerful. Hajime's gun-crafting abilities in a fantasy world feel like bringing a tank to a medieval battle. Completely unfair, but undeniably effective. The revenge subplot provides solid motivation, and watching him go from 0 to "I'll kill God if I have to" is peak character development. Sure, the CGI monsters look like they escaped from a PlayStation 2 game, but the story momentum carries everything forward, landing at number 2 with the anime that combines reincarnation, school life, and enough past life drama to fuel a soap opera. Moroha remembers being 2 different legendary heroes, which basically makes him the most qualified student ever, while everyone else is still figuring out basic magic. The dual nature setup creates interesting combat variety. Sometimes he's a magic swordsman, sometimes he's a wizard, always overpowered. His relationships with Satsuki and Shizuno feel genuinely connected through their shared past lives, adding emotional weight that most harem anime completely ignore. The action sequences blend sword techniques with magical abilities seamlessly, creating fights that feel both strategic and spectacular. Plus, the school setting provides structure while the past life mysteries keep the overarching plot moving forward at a solid pace. Topping our list at number 1, we have 100, the anime that takes every Mecha Academy trope and somehow makes it work through pure execution and character chemistry. Hayato's compatibility with the 100 weapons is off the charts, making him instantly elite in a world where most people struggle with basic operations. The romance with Emil creates this perfect dynamic of mutual respect and genuine partnership. They're both incredibly skilled, but push each other to new heights without the usual jealousy drama. The mecha designs feel sleek and practical, while the combat sequences blend high-speed action with tactical thinking. What sets 100 apart is how it treats its overpowered protagonist. Hayato's strength feels earned through training and determination rather than random plot convenience. The supporting cast adds genuine value instead of just existing for fan service. And the world building creates stakes that matter beyond individual character development. That wraps our countdown of romance adventure anime with ridiculously overpowered main characters. From virtual reality swordsmen to god-slaying teenagers, these shows prove that sometimes the best love stories happen when one person can literally reshape reality. Which overpowered protagonist won your heart? Drop your favorites below, smash that like button, and subscribe for more anime content.